So if you want pure tactical analysis, then this is the video for you. If you're bored easily or just don't care about the tactical side of the game, then probably not the video for you. But in this video I'm going to be breaking down a tactical model that I've come up with for the build-up phase that I think Amorim could use to turn Amad Diallo into one of the most effective players in the Premier League. So straight into it, build-up phase. United are looking to play out of pressure under a man-to-man press, which the majority of the time is going to be in a 4-4-2 defensive shape, becoming more of a 4-2-4 when pressing high up the pitch. So this is the setup that Amorim usually uses. You've got the central centre-back and the midfield double pivot on the edge of the box, the two interior forwards dragging the fullbacks narrow and high up the pitch, and the centre-forward looking to positionally pin both centre-backs on the halfway line, which is a 2v1, but by keeping a 2v1 on the halfway line, this should give us a man advantage in deeper areas, a two-man advantage if we can use the keeper correctly. So the keeper has the ball from a goal kick, and in my opinion goal kicks are massively undervalued because this is the one phase of play where you can predict how the opposition is going to set up. And if they are looking to press aggressively, nearly all of the time they're going to be pressing man-to-man, which means that as a side in possession, you're able to manipulate the positions of the opposition players, and therefore their entire defensive shape, because you know how each individual presser has been designated to follow a specific player. And this is the reason why I do like Amorim's build-up shape, and I'm going to break down exactly why in just a minute. But before I get into that, if you do want to pick up any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to Dragon Jersey. They've got a variety of different current season and retro jerseys, and depending on where you live, you can get 7 to 12 day delivery time, as well as a 30-day money back guarantee. But if you do want to check out any of the details before you buy, they have got their WhatsApp and email on the site, and if you use code ATLANTIS at checkout, you will get a 10% discount for a limited time. So I'll leave it linked in the description and in the comment section below, and remember to use code ATLANTIS at checkout for your 10% discount. So in Amorim's build-up shape, it's going to be one of the midfield double pivot and the central centre-back in a 2 on the edge of the box, or 3 with the double pivot either side of the central centre-back. And this works to entice the opposition's midfield line high, stretching the space between the midfield and defensive line, which we're going to look to exploit with this pattern of play. So let's say that the ball gets shifted to the right sided centre-back. In this scenario, we are looking to use an overload to our advantage. In the deeper part of the pitch, because the opposition are using a front 2 and we have 3 players in the 2 centre-backs either side of the goalkeeper in a back 3 to press, this means that if we can draw the front 2 over to the left side initially and then circulate the ball back across to the right-sided centre-back should have time and space to move into, in order to draw the left-sided midfielder into at least holding his position high, ready to engage, which therefore creates a 2v1 on the right side with the right-sided centre-back and right wing-back against the opposition's left-sided midfielder. Now from here, one of the front 2 is going to come across, likely simultaneously cutting off the passing lane back to the keeper, and so from here we want to use the 3 men centrally on the edge of the box, with the idea of releasing the right wing back in behind the midfield line press. And we can do this by looking to split the opposition's left-sided midfielder and left-sided central midfielder, with the right-sided centre-back playing an incisive pass into one of our central midfielders on the edge of the box, where from the right wing-back should be looking to move off of the back of the left-sided midfielder, who should be focused on the ball, looking to get goal side of the opposition's midfield line press. And this is where the De Zerbi style of training comes into play, getting players used to receiving these type of passes under pressure, first time, and being able to bounce the ball backwards or out to the side, where from the right wing back moving goal side of the opposition's left-sided midfielder, he's now open to a pass out wide, but a more optimal pass would be to bounce the ball backwards to the central centre-back, who also needs to use some sharp movements to move away from his presser in order to create that bit of space. But the intention of this pattern of play is to get the ball bounced back, with the opposition's central midfield being dragged apart by the slightly wider positioning of our double pivot, with us looking to find one of the 2 interior forwards dropping deep, looking to open up a passing lane to split the opposition's midfield line and receive the ball in the middle third. In this pattern of play, you want the interior forward on the side of the ball, the right side in this example, to look to make a facilitating run, spinning onto the outside of the fullback on his back, looking to drag him deeper into the channel to open up the space that he was previously situated in. Now from here you want someone like Zirkzee dropping into the space behind the midfield line from one of those 2 interior forward positions, where from our wing backs are looking to move ahead of our double pivot and central centre back on the edge of the box as we look to find Zirkzee's feet. And from here, if you look at the setup in this phase of play, you can see that the objective is for the wing backs to run off the opposition's wide midfielders, looking to get goal side, ready to receive a layoff from someone like Zirkzee. And if the pass from the interior forward, someone like Zirkzee, can find one of the wing backs, both of whom have made diagonal runs from wide and deep positions on the flanks to now slightly higher and more central positions. They now have the space to carry the ball into. Now what I really like about this particular pattern of play is that you get your two best ball carriers, which most of the time is going to be the wing backs, particularly if you have Ahmad and Dogu on either flank, being the players to drive the ball into space in the middle third. But not just this, because the midfield double pivot and central centre back are holding deeper and central positions, you now have an incredibly compact pentagon shape in the centre of the pitch, providing you with an excellent rest defence shape in case possession is lost. Now the reason I think Zirkzee and Ahmad would thrive in this sort of pattern of play is because Zirkzee excels when receiving the ball with his back to goal under pressure and being able to link play incredibly efficiently, whilst Ahmad is best when he has space to drive into and can drive into positions where he's central on his left foot and can now look to pick a pass, whether it's a through ball or a pass out wide. And this is where we come on to the setup that I think Amorim should move towards next season. Two athletic and physical central midfielders in the midfield double pivot, who are also competent when having to play these 1 and 2 touch bounce passes under pressure in congested areas, with two winger-like wing-backs either side who can use the defensive security provided behind them by the midfield double pivot to race forward and look to break into the spaces ahead, rather than having to worry about the space they vacated, because after all it's much more important to cover the spaces centrally in a deeper position in terms of the rest defence than it is to cover the wide positions that the wing-backs are vacating. Now Ugarte fits the sort of criteria for the midfielder that we need, as would a signing like Edison, or even a slightly more developed Sekou Kone. Dogu and Ahmad are both the type of wing-backs that you do want racing ahead of the midfield double pivot, but I would like to see Amorim experiment with Garnacho at wing-back, particularly on the left side, because if you look at what Garnacho's best attributes are, carrying the ball into space is probably at the top of that list, and you can see this clearly from his FB ref report in the Premier League this season, as he ranks between the 86th and 92nd percentile range for his progressive carries as well as his carries into the final third and penalty area, which alongside him being right-footed, would make him perfect for this sort of pattern of play where he starts wide and deep, but looks to make a diagonal run forward, looking to receive the ball from Zirkzee and then drive forward into the space, being a wing-back who can start a artificial counter-attack just like with Ahmad on the other side. And the reason this pattern of play is so effective is because if you look at the setup right now, it resembles a counter-attack, but instead of having to sit deep and waiting for the opposition to lose possession, we've created this through controlled, stable possession in the build-up phase, creating the space via baiting the press and then playing through it. Now at the top of the system, if you have an advanced forward like Højlund or Osimhen, they essentially have the job of just holding a high position during the build-up phase, pinning the centre-backs backwards on the halfway line, and then once one of the wing-backs is released and can receive the ball in space, they can then look to provide the movement in behind the back line, not just to open up the opportunity of a through ball, but also to drag the defensive line deeper, creating more space for the wing-backs Ahmad and Garnacho to drive into when they receive the ball. And this is also why I think in the front three, if you are using one of Zirkzee, Fernandes or Mainu, players who primarily want to receive the ball to feet, you need someone on the other side of the centre forward who has the pace to be a threat in this sort of artificial counter-attacking situation. So let me know what you thought of this pattern of play. Do you agree with my tactical analysis? Also, if you want to check out any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to Jersey FIFA. You can use code Atlantis at checkout to get a 10% discount. And if you do want to sign up to my Patreon and read any of my articles or sign up for the in-game Instagram group chat, I'll leave it linked on the end screen now alongside another video.